Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe. In the Spurling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe. For the intelligent, black men is relevant. Why ask questions when you know the answer? So we bypass outlast channels, no gossip. We about that life. Tune in, subscribe, hop in the broadcast, stay current. Then the Spurling Podcast, vibe with it. On the couch, leaving your house so you can ride with it. Voice of black excellence with no frontin'. In the space we speak how we feel. The blizzard's coming.
What's up? Welcome back to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Big shout out to my man Mark Freelancer, Gunmetal Guy USA. Big shout out to Chaos Rain, man. Y'all hit the #1 button. My man Glow Hardy, what's happening, fam? Always good to see you guys up in here. Yeah. So look, we got a hot one for you tonight. We're talking about disloyal women will destroy your wealth and success. Disloyal women will destroy your wealth and success. Fellas, let's get into something real today, something that could make or break your future. We're going to talk about critical decisions you need to make when it comes to choosing the right woman to stand beside or stand by your side. Now, I'm not just talking about love and romance, and you guys know that's not what we do on this page. All right, I'm talking about your legacy. I'm talking about wealth. I'm talking about your social standing, and most importantly, your self-respect. We all know that bad relationships can destroy everything you've worked hard to build. Shout out to my man, Frank Whitaker. Thank you so much, fam. And not only can bad relationships destroy everything you built, it can destroy your resources, tear down your confidence, and leave you in a worse place than when you started. So today, we're going to break down the key things you need to be aware of when you're out there looking for a wife, especially if you're a high stature black man, high value black man, high value man in general. And we're going to discuss the red flags to watch out for, the importance of maintaining your standards, and how to protect your wealth and reputation. We're also going to dive into the dynamics of interracial dating. Yep, IR. And the hidden prejudices that come with dating outside your race or even within our own race, okay, but outside of the actual culture. When it comes to dealing with women from different cultural backgrounds, you need to know what you're up against and how to navigate these waters, especially especially compromising compromising who you are or what you've built. By the end of the discussion, you're going to have, and I hope you're going to have tools that make to make smarter choices, avoid traps that can bring you down, and ensure that when you choose a partner, she's someone who truly values and respects you, not just what you can do for her. Now, what are we going to discuss? Shout out to everybody who's coming through. Make sure you show your love by subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. But what are we gonna what are we about to discuss? Or should I say, what we're about to discuss? It can make or break your future. We're going to dive into the kind of woman that every high value, high status man needs. All right, or should I say, needs to avoid, or matter of fact, avoid like the plague. The kind of woman who is not who if you're not careful will tear down everything you work so hard to build. Let's talk about Geri McGee. Geri McGee, McGee. All right, you guys ever seen the movie Casino? With Robert De Niro? That's a type. That's a type of woman who's nothing but trouble. She's what I would call a materialistic, opportunistic woman. Geri wasn't in a relationship for love. Those of you guys who remember the movie, she wasn't in a relationship for love, a true marriage or a true partnership. No, she was in it for financial gain and the luxurious lifestyle. She's the type of woman who sees a man not as a husband, but as a meal ticket, a way to secure wealth and live large without giving a damn about the emotional or financial toll it takes on him. But it doesn't end there. Geri was manipulative and deceptive, using her looks and charm to control. In the Casino movie, somebody type Casino. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys, look, let's be clear. This is the kind of woman who will pay, who will play you like a fiddle, getting what she wants, not through genuine connection, but through cold, calculated manipulation. And brothers, you need to recognize these signs, because women like this will use you until there's nothing left. Now, let's talk about loyalty. See, Geri didn't have any. She was disloyal. She was untrustworthy, plain and simple. Many of you men are dealing with women like that. Her infidelity, her betrayal was constant. And if you think a woman like this will stand by you when things get tough, you're fooling yourself. A woman who has a history of betraying the men who provide for her, who don't respect what they're giving, is a woman who will do the same to you without blinking an eye. And here's another thing. Geri was attracted to the danger and chaos. She was a thrill seeker. She wasn't just comfortable in the world of crime and deceit. She thrived in it. She got involved with a man like Tony Spilotro, which was his real name. They call him Same Rothstein in the movie, but it was based on the story of Tony Spilotro. And he was deep in the criminal underworld. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of woman is drawn to that life? And the answer is simple. One who will bring unnecessary risk to your life. One who will ruin your reputation and drag you down with her. Finally, let's get into Geri's self-destructive tendencies. This woman was on a downward spiral, and anyone attached to her was going down too. Her substance abuse, her erratic behavior, her terrible decisions. They didn't just ruin her life. They pulled down everyone around her. And if you get involved with a woman like this, and many of you have dated the ex-dope dealer chick. Many of you have dated the chick whose boyfriend or baby daddy is in jail. Many of you dated the chick with a weed habit, and then also she's rolling and she's snorting. You don't know what she's doing. You're playing with fire. Trust me. And you'll get burned. Brothers, women like this Geri McGee archetype, Geri McGee, she represents all the red flags that you need to be wary of. She's materialistic, manipulative, disloyal, attracted to danger, and self-destructive. Today, I'm going to break down these traits and show you how to spot them and arm you with the knowledge to steer clear of women like this. Because if you don't, you risk losing everything, your wealth, your status, your peace of mind. And this isn't just about avoiding a bad relationship. This is about protecting your legacy, your future, and everything you worked so hard. So let's get into it. All right. Fellas. If you like what you hear, if you like this series I've been doing about you protecting your wealth, we can expand. There's so much more I plan to do with this. But I want to make sure you guys appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I'd love for you guys to subscribe. And at some point, if you've heard something, if you heard something that you like, make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, or the PayPal. All right? Now, as I hinted before, we're talking about Casino, and this is a 1995 film directed by Martin Scorsese. Shout out to TIQS. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate the super chat. We're talking about this movie by Martin Scorsese, and it's based on the true story of Frank Lefty Rosenthal. He was a Jewish American gambling expert who was deeply involved in the operations of several Las Vegas casinos during the 1970s and 80s. In the movie, Rosenthal's character is renamed Sam Ace Rothstein, okay? And it's portrayed by Robert De Niro. And Ace is a meticulous and highly skilled manager. He was handpicked. He was handpicked by the Chicago mob to oversee the day-to-day operations of the Tangiers Casino. Under his management, the casino flourished, with profits soaring as Ace expertly controls every aspect of the business. You guys got to check this movie out. The problem is his life begins to unravel when he marries Ginger McKenna, okay? Now, she's a beautiful but deeply troubled woman with a past as a hustler. And their tumultuous relationship, combined with his reckless actions, or with the reckless actions of his childhood friend, Nicky Santoro, right, played by Danny DeVito, who's a mob enforcer, leads to Ace's downfall. Now, the film not only showcases the rise, and shout out to my man, Mark Freelancer, thank you so much for the Cash App. The film not only showcases the rise and fall of Ace Rothstein, but it also delves into the darker side of Las Vegas casino industry and explores themes of greed, power, betrayal, and the destructive nature of toxic relationships. Casino is a gripping tale. I've watched it several times. And, it's powerful. It's about these calculated men who are brought down by their weaknesses, and particularly when it comes to love and loyalty. Sam, or Ace Rothstein, is the quintessential high stature man, the kind of man who is on paper, has everything going on for himself, much like many of you. He's got money, he's got power. He's the type of man that modern women, especially those driven by superficial values, are drawn to. But here's the harsh truth. Despite all his accomplishments, Sam has nothing more than he's nothing more than a bona fide cuck in a relationship with Ginger. Yeah, that's it. He convinced himself that he could change her, that his love and sacrifices would be enough to transform her into a loyal partner he deserved. Many of you have fell into the trap. You've had your own Gingers. You've had your own women who weren't loyal. She was loyal to her feelings from day one. Feelings that never truly included Sam. No matter how much he gave her, no matter how much he spent, no matter how much he sacrificed. And see, men like Sam Rothstein might as well, they have well intention. They're good guys. Somebody type good guy in the chat room. Just like many of you, you're good guys. But they lack the critical objectivity needed to see through the facade of a woman like Ginger. Why? Because they haven't mastered their own desires, fellas. They're still swayed by a woman's looks, like little boys who haven't outgrown their elementary school crushes. Let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with a man doing nice things for a woman who respects him and is dedicated to his cause. But there's something seriously wrong when a man when a man does those same nice things for a woman who disrespects him and is disloyal to his cause, all because he's blinded by lust. Now let's dive deeper into the lessons men seeking money, power, and social status can learn from casino. And for those of you all who have it, how you can hold on to it. Ace Rothstein is a prototype, just like many of you high value men. And he represents a type of high status, high value man that many of us aspire to be. Yet his journey is a cautionary tale of what happens when you lose sight of who you are and what truly matters. First and foremost, self-awareness is crucial. Ace thought he could change gender. He thought he could change gender, and he projected his desires onto her without seeing her for who she really was. And this underscores the importance of understanding that real relationships are built on mutual respect, compatibility, and not fantasy. Not some fantasy that you can mold this crackhead into a wife. You can't mold anybody into what you want them to be. And that's something that your hard-headed egos will have you feeling like you can do. You think you're going to alpha this woman into being a good wife, and you can't do it. The next imperative is that men maintain objectivity in their pursuits. Ace's well-meaning attempts to win Ginger's loyalty only blinded him to her inherent disloyalty. And this serves as a stark reminder that emotional decisions, especially those driven by physical attraction, can cloud your judgment. Some of you all have children by women that you can't stand because you fell for a big booty and a smile. Because she was cute. And so that's why it's essential to evaluate relationships based on respect and shared values rather than being dazzled by her physical allure alone. And look, there's nothing wrong with treating a woman well if she respects and supports you. It's a huge problem when those gestures are aimed at someone who disrespects you, your efforts, and your loyalty. And many of you are dealing with that right now. The more you do for her, the less she respects you. You brothers need to focus on relationships that align with your goals and values, and thereby you ensure that the time and resources that you invest are truly reciprocated. Ultimately, and you guys who know the story, you know the Sam Rothstein story, it teaches us the importance of balancing desire with discernment. Somebody say desire versus discernment. In your quest for success and status, it's vital to choose a woman that will elevate you, a relationship that will uplift you, not one that diminishes your aspirations and drags you down. Don't get to be a high status, high stature man who loses it all because you can't see the truth staring you in the face. She doesn't like you. Go ahead and be a man who values himself enough and demand the same from others. Here are some lessons that we can learn just on that movie. And you've heard this before, and I'm going to keep telling you this over and over again. Know your worth. Understand your value, what you bring to a relationship. Don't settle for someone who doesn't appreciate you. Where did you go wrong? Where did this Rothstein character go wrong? He devoted too much time and energy and resources to trying to win this woman over. Despite her evident lack of loyalty, he bought her gifts, just like many of you did. He spent time with her. He talked to her. He tried to cater to her. He tried to get her help for a drug problem. And in doing so, just like many of you, he overlooked his own worth by trying to change her rather than recognizing that she didn't align with his values. So this led to an emotional turmoil and ultimately a betrayal. The other thing you guys got to do, avoid idolizing these women. Don't project your desires on this woman. Recognize them for who they truly are. Rather than you wish them to be, right? Like in this situation, Sam idolized Ginger, believing he could mold her into the perfect wife. He ignored her flaws and the reality of her disloyalty, focusing instead on his fantasies about their relationship. We always tell these women they're delusional. But many of you all are delusional. And this idolization blinded him to the truth, leading to his downfall as he failed to see her manipulative nature. I got 2 super chats. I need 18 more. The other thing is, fellas, use your logic, maintain objectivity, stay grounded and objective in your relationships. Emotional decisions can cloud judgment and lead to poor choices. This man became emotionally entangled with this woman, which compromised his judgment. His feelings for her caused him to overlook critical signs of her unfaithfulness and disregard for her values. She running off and gone all the time. Just like many of your women staying out all night, hanging out with her friends, going to her cousin's house, going to her sister's house, and you don't see her and she doesn't pick up her phone for hours. Those are clear signs of unfaithfulness. And more importantly, it's a clear disregard for his values. But his emotional bias led him to make decisions that negatively impacted both his personal life and his business life. The thing you should be looking for is mutual respect. Prioritize relationships built on mutual respect, whether it's your friend, family member, or romantic relationship. Your woman should uplift both individuals, or should I say the relationship should uplift the man and the woman, not just you uplifting her. This man invested heavily into this woman. He bought her jewelry. He bought her gifts. He took on trips. He called her queen, princess, all you know, somebody type queen in the chat room. He was hoping to, he was the biggest simp, hoping to try to earn her loyalty and respect. But this woman showed him nothing but disrespect for his efforts. She was more concerned about her own ambitions and prioritizing her own desires over his. And this is an imbalance. And it led to a toxic dynamic with Sam's contributions went unappreciated and ultimately resulted in his emotional and financial downfall. You got to recognize the red flags, fellas, and be vigilant about warning signs of disloyalty and disrespect. Ignoring these red flags can lead to significant personal financial losses. Throughout his relationship with Ginger, Sam ignored numerous red flags such as her manipulative behavior, her infidelity, and instead of addressing these issues head up like a man, he chose to overlook them, believing that his love and commitment would change her. And this naivete not only hurt him emotionally, but it also jeopardized his status and business ventures. Mind you, he dealing with the mafia. And at the point you become a weak link, you get eliminated. So it wasn't just like he was going to lose his job like many of you, because your rotten wife got you up all night arguing with her on the phone about at the house about where she been coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you can't sleep and focus on work because you sitting up waiting for her. Shout out to my man, Lock Vegas. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much. And I'm going to read all the super chats in a minute. We need 17 more super chats. So it's not only like he was going to lose his job. This man might have lose his life. There ain't no getting out of the mafia. There's no getting out. Once you become a liability, you're gone. In real life, you're in a ditch somewhere in the Mojave Desert. He didn't establish boundaries. You have to set clear boundaries in the relationships, and you have to be willing to enforce those boundaries, fellas. Shout out to my man, Cody Marshall. Thank you. Know what behaviors are acceptable and don't compromise your values. Sam failed to establish firm boundaries with his woman, like many of you have. You let her get away with too much. You allowed her to manipulate you and disrupt your personal and professional life. And you tolerated her, you tolerate the erratic behavior and the disloyalty, which ultimately undermined his power and control. This conversation is for men who want money, power, and wealth. This is not for everybody. If you have the time to deal with one of these erratic, crazy, silly, sassy ladies, you go right on ahead. But men who are focused on money, power, and wealth, we don't need this instability in our home lives. He failed because he didn't stand firm on his principles. He lost respect and stability in both his relationship and his business. And that affects the bottom line. You cannot compromise your goals. Shout out to my man Passport Blueprint. I need 15 more super chats. You don't compromise your goals. Ensure that your romantic pursuits align with your personal and professional ambitions. Avoid distractions that derail your focus. Sam became so consumed by his relationship with this woman, Ginger, that he lost sight of his professional goals. He's steady trying to keep up with this woman and can't keep up with his ambition and his dreams and his money-making schemes. And his emotional turmoil and the chaos in their relationship distracted him from his responsibilities in running the casino. And this diversion not only affected his business performance, but it also led to decisions that ultimately jeopardized his career. Look, fam, focus on the money. Don't worry about the honey. The other thing you need to do, and this kind of goes back to loving yourself and knowing your worth, you need to invest wisely. The same way you would invest your money wisely and selectively, you invest your time and your energy in a woman wisely and prudently. Not every woman is worth the effort. Sam, like many of you, poured immense time and energy and resources into a relationship with a woman despite her lack of loyalty and lack of respect. She doesn't even call you back. She waits a couple of hours, 2-3 hours to call you back. 2 or 3 days. Just like many of you, he failed to evaluate whether the investment was worthwhile, leading to a significant emotional and financial cost. He wasn't getting anything on his return. Just like many of you aren't getting anything on your return. And this misallocation of resources, which is time and energy, ultimately left him vulnerable and diminished his overall success. Shout out to Urban Eagle. I need 14 more super chats. You got to learn from your experiences. Reflect on past relationships to understand what went wrong. Use those lessons to make better choices. Shout out to B Rain Wash. I'm going to read you guys in a minute. We need 13 more super chats. Use those lessons so you can make better choices in the future. You're obviously running across the same type of women because you're attracted to the same type of women. So it's something in you that you need to get together so that you can make better choices. Sam seemed to repeat the pattern from previous relationships without fully learning from them. And despite experiencing disloyal or betrayal and heartbreak before, he entered into another tumultuous relationship with Ginger, and he ignored the signs that history might repeat itself. This lack of reflection prevented him from making more informed choices, leading to further personal and professional setbacks. Nobody likes to do business with a simp. At all. Fellas, you need to prioritize your personal growth. Focus on self-improvement and personal development. A strong sense of self can attract the right type of woman and help avoid the toxic relationships with the wrong type of women. This man became so focused on his relationship with Ginger, he neglected his own personal growth and stability. His identity and self-worth became intertwined with her approval. Who is she? Nobody. But it led to him making a decision that compromised his integrity and ambitions. And by prioritizing her over his own development, he fostered a toxic environment that ultimately led to his downfall. Now, here's the thing. As I said earlier, Geri McGee was the real-life inspiration behind the Ginger McKenna character in the Martin Scorsese movie Casino. This was a woman who was deeply entrenched in the glitz and the grime of Las Vegas. Her life characterized by her love of money, manipulation, and the pursuit of power through her relationships. And it serves as a cautionary tale of the dangers that come with being superficial, opportunistic, and an image-obsessed type woman. Shout out to my man Martin Dupree. We need 12 more super chats. Geri McGee, despite her many flaws, had several positive attributes. And that's what made her attractive to Frank Rosenthal, also known as Lefty, who was an inspiration for Sam, Ace, Rothstein, and Charisma. These women aren't all bad, just like that one that you like. Yeah, she a crackhead, but she cooked real good. Yeah, she got 3 kids, but she's so respectful. Right? Yeah, she disrespectful, man, but my mama love her, though, man. She feel like family already. Tell the truth. Shout out to Depressed 1177. We need 11 more super chats. So she had charm and charisma. We talking about this type. Geri McGee, she was undeniably characteristic and charming. She had a magnetic personality, and she drew people to her. And she was very popular amongst the high rollers and the social elites in Vegas. Her charm wasn't just superficial. She had an innate ability to make people feel special and at ease in her presence. And there's a lot of people, a lot of women out there. And Frank Rosenthal was captivated by Geri, by her charm and the way she was effortlessly able to command attention in the room. He was drawn to her ability to navigate high-stakes world of Las Vegas with grace and poise, making her seem like the perfect woman for this man of high status. He was a numbers guy. Like many of you guys are nerds. Me too, to a certain extent. Shout out to my man Jerome Bostic. Thank you for the cash out. And he liked that. She could do something. She was gonna be his queen. Right? This is a perfect match. It was all in his mind, though. I want you to understand that this was his fantasy, not hers. She was also exceptionally beautiful. And she was statuesque, which means she was tall. She had this great shape. She was a showgirl. Her physical appearance combined with her elegant demeanor made her stand out in this glamorous world of Las Vegas showgirls and socialites. And Frank was immediately taken by Geri's beauty, describing her as the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. And her appearance played a significant role in his attraction to her. Blonde hair, blue eyes. For you black dudes, that be light skin with a big booty and long hair. Same thing. Whatever. Her appearance, like a schoolboy. Shout out to my man Broslick Sean. We need another 10 super chats. We halfway home. He saw this woman as the epitome of the kind of woman that could enhance his own image and status. So mind you, he wanted to bring her in his dream. She had her own dreams. Another thing is, this woman, she was socially savvy. She emotionally intelligent. She could move. She knew how to work a room, make connections, and charm those around her. The social savvy made her an asset in the high rolling circles of Las Vegas, where connections and appearances were everything. He could send her in there and she could get them to start spending money. She loosened them up. And he admired that about her ability to handle herself in social situations, particularly in the casino environment, where charm and quick thinking was invaluable. He likely saw her as someone he could compliment in his business acumen and her social skills in helping to solidify his standing in the community. Again, he wanted to possess her. What he should have did was cut a deal with her and say, look, let's play this game and you help me get this money. And he should have had him another woman, because he's all in fantasy land right now. The other thing was she was independent and she was resourceful. These are things that she developed at a young age. She wasn't just a pretty face. She was a hustler. And he knew how to make money and secure her own financial stability. And before meeting Frank, she was already built a substantial amount of wealth through her work as a showgirl and by hustling chips in casino. So he respected that. Shout out to my man Chef 673. I'm gonna get you in a minute. We're gonna read all these super chats. We need another 9 super chats. He respected that. He was impressed by her independence and her ability to accumulate wealth on her own. He saw her a woman who wasn't just looking to be taken care of, but someone who had drive and determination to succeed in her own right. And this independence may have initially appealed to Frank as he valued the competence and success. The other thing, she was glamorous, she was elegant, right? It was Las Vegas. She was dressed nice. She had all the name brands on. She carried herself with confidence. She knew how to maintain an image of sophistication. And this sense of style and elegance made her stand out in the setting. Many of you fellas have seen this type of woman in your own life. And you want to make her part of your team. You're drawn to the glamour that she represents. You know she would make you look good on your arm when you go to the president's ball or the governor's ball. She would be the perfect wife for a man of yours, a perfect compliment for you high-value men. I know. Her ability to enhance your image as a successful man was the same thing as Jerry's ability to enhance Sam's career as a successful casino operator, a mob associate. And that was a significant factor. Now, that's the good. But what about the bad? Ultimately, this woman was superficial and materialistic. And as I told y'all before, just because a person that has good attributes, that does not mean we just ignore the bad ones. Her life was defined by her obsession with wealth and luxury. That's why she was in Vegas in the first place. She loved money. She loved earning it, spending it, and flaunting it. Her entire persona was built around the allure of material wealth, which she used to navigate the high-stakes world of Las Vegas. Somebody type, "Get the bag, chick," in the chat room. She was a boss chick. Her marriage to Frank Rosenthal wasn't out of love, but out of security, status, and riches that he represented. Her materialism made her life a constant hustle, always seeking the next big score, the next opportunity to try and enhance her lavish lifestyle. How you gonna lock down a woman like that, fellas? What's the point? So when you see a woman is superficial and materialistic, as a high-value man who's making money, you got to understand that that's a red flag. The other thing is, this woman, yeah, you might say she can work a room, but that's because she was a master manipulator. She used her charm, her beauty to get what she wanted from men in her life. From hustling blackjack players to ensnaring high rollers. She knew how to play the game to her advantage. Her marriage to Frank, a high status, high value man, was as much a strategic move as her personal relationship. She saw Frank as a means to an end, a man who could provide her with the lifestyle she craved. But when the lifestyle became too restrictive, she didn't hesitate to find solace and power in the arms in the arms of his homeboy, Tony Spilotro, ultimately leading to the destruction of her marriage and her life. Here's the thing. Them strong, independent boss chicks, you can't lock them down. The relationship is too restrictive for them. Shout out to my man, Chad Tyrone. We need 8 more super chats. Think about that. So if if a woman tells you she's strong, independent, and don't need a man, that lets you know she's not, you can't restrict her. You can't put her, she's not going to cook and clean. That's not what she's doing. She's going to deem that too restrict. She's going to call that slavery. And we've heard that before. The other thing was, and I mean, this is a red flag. This woman, despite her wealth and despite the wealth and the luxury that he provided her, she was marked by a deep-seated unhappiness. And she struggled with drugs and alcohol addiction, which only exacerbated the volatile nature of her relationships. Her self-destructive tendencies were evident in her constant battles with her husband, her reckless behavior. ultimately led to her demise. She was addicted to both dope and the high life. And it led her down the dark path. And you guys know she ended up dying at 46 years old from a lethal combination of drugs and alcohol. And that should serve you fellas. That's a grim reminder of the consequences of living a life driven by superficial desires. Here's the cold part about it. Many of you dudes will still give her a chance. You're dealing with a woman who drink, she's throwing back brown. She got 10 rounds of brown. You understand? She has no fear of the clear. On top of that, she rolling, she's smoking, she's shooting. And you think you're gonna do something with that? Nah, man. That's a trap. Again, this woman was charismatic, but she was deeply flawed. Her charm and charisma, those traits made her irresistible to those men around her. She could light up a room and was adored by many in the Vegas high roller scene. But beneath the surface, she was deeply flawed and emotionally unstable, unable to find contentment and constantly seeking validation through wealth and status. Her charm masked a turbulent interior life, one filled with insecurities, manipulations, and a constant need for more and more money, more attention, more money. Look, man, there's something in there. Anytime you find a woman who is that hell-bent, she got to have it like that, there's some problems. See, for you fellas, women like this story is a reminder to be wary of those who are drawn to your wealth rather than your character. Geri McGee in real life, like her fictional counterpart, Ginger McKenna, is the type of woman, was a woman who embodied the dangers of leading a life based on materialism and manipulation. In the end, no amount of money could save her from the destructive path she's chosen. And it serves as a stark warning about the consequences of a superficial living and dealing with a woman. She was manipulative, materialistic, charismatic, and self-destructive. And you need to be able to identify this type of woman. And you need to be vigilant about certain behaviors and red flags that you see. Here are the signs. She has an excessive focus on material wealth. Somebody type, get the bag in the chat room. That's a red flag. She's obsessed with luxury and designer brands and expensive experiences. Oh, I'm going to Dubai with my friends. Oh, I'm going to New York to spend blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Her happiness seems tied to acquiring material possessions rather than building a meaningful relationship for personal growth. How do you tell a woman like this? Where's the sign? She's constantly talking about money. She's constantly talking about status symbols, like these bad Birkin bag. Can't even spell Birkin. Look at her Instagram post. She desires a lavish lifestyle. She might prioritize gifts and expensive dates or flashy displays of wealth over genuine connection. She ain't worried about you. She's worried about what you can do for her. Another red flag, she uses her charm to manipulate situations to her advantage, often playing on emotions to get what she wants. She may guilt trip you, make you feel responsible for her happiness, or use flattery to influence your decisions. Oh my God, you so strong. Can you come over here and help me move my stuff out of my house in my new apartment? Flattery. But deep down inside, you know her actions seem calculated and they seem to benefit her more than you. Oh, we need to buy these matching watches or something like that. That's a red flag. That's manipulative behavior. Another one, her interest in you fluctuates based on your financial situation or what you can provide. She may lose interest when you're not catering to her material desires. Go ahead and cancel that trip to Dubai. Go ahead and cancel that trip to Bal Harbor. Go ahead and cancel that trip to Houston so you can go to the Galleria. She calling you every day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But on Thursday, when you tell her, hey, I can't make it, we can't go this week, you don't hear from her from a week. She shows more enthusiasm when you're spending money or offering gifts, but becomes distant when those things aren't available. The conversations often revolve around what you can do for her rather than mutual interest or emotional connection. That's a red flag. The other thing is, she has habits that suggest she's trying to escape from reality, whether through substance abuse or reckless behavior, or an obsession with maintaining a certain lifestyle. If you got a chick that's always in the club, what you think she's doing in the club? She's running from reality. She's drinking in reality. She's smoking in reality. She hangs, she's listening to loud music in reality. Those are self-destructive tendencies. That's not wife material. That's not the type of woman you want as a high-value man, as a high-status man, as an up-and-coming man, as a man trying to build an empire, a man trying to establish wealth, status, and resources. You got a woman who frequently engages in excessive drinking, drug use, and other risky behaviors. All of that is going to lead to dramatic episodes. And guess what? She's not going to take responsibility for the consequences. That's who you're dealing with. Now, she can be charming and magnetic, but her focus is always on herself because she's self-centered. She's often the center of attention and expects others to cater to her needs. She enjoys being admired, and she may have a large social circle, but her relationships are shallow. And she rarely shows genuine issue in others' their lives unless it benefits her in some kind of way. That's a red flag. That's like jumping that's jumping head first into the shallow end of the pool. You're gonna hurt yourself. Shout out to my man there. I said it. We need 7 more super chats. Another one. Here's another one. She has frequent mood swings, and her moods are unpredictable. And she may have intense emotional reactions, particularly when things don't go her way. She's a grown woman throwing tantrums. That's a red flag. She can quickly shift from being affectionate to anger or distant, often leaving you feeling like you're walking on eggshells. You don't need that type of woman in your life because these mood swings can be a form of manipulation to keep you off balance. Remember that. That's good game. She learned that somewhere. She's had a pimp in her life. The other thing is, fam, she doesn't respect your boundaries. She doesn't respect the boundaries of others. She's often pushing for more than what's her reasonable fare. And this may intrude on your personal space and demand more of your time and more than you're comfortable with, or ignore your express limits. This lack of respect for boundaries can lead to toxic controlling dynamic. Now you focused on what she wants instead of what you want and what you have to do. Boundaries. The other thing, another red flag, she's constantly worried about how she's perceived by others, and she spends significant time and energy maintaining a certain image. She's obsessed with her social media presence. Many of y'all know who I'm talking about. There's plenty of them out there. She's always curating the perfect image of her life. and is overly concerned with how others view her lifestyle and relationships. That's a red flag, brothers. You're lucky. Y'all got internet. Y'all can look and see who you're dealing with. You need some help? Let me know. We can schedule a one-on-one conference. Huh? And we'll examine her internet page, her social media page, and we'll break it down. The other thing is her relationships. It's a red flag. She has a pattern of relationships. Shout out to my man ATL Slab Riders. Appreciate you, bro. Give you a little rock and roll. Yeah. Woo-woo. Yeah. For that 100. History of shallow or failed relationship. She has a pattern of them, and they all end bad. How do they end? They end with accusations of infidelity, dishonesty, and financial exploitation. That's how her relationship ends. She's going to talk about past relationship in a way that shows a lack of accountability. Always blaming the other person, always blaming the other man, ex-boyfriend, baby daddy, whoever, ex-husband, without ever reflecting on her own behavior. Any woman that cannot take accountability is not the type of woman that a high-value man needs, because she can't learn and she can't be taught. You remember that if you don't remember anything else. Accountability. That's how you separate the real women from the fake ones. The other thing is she lacks genuine compassion or empathy. She does not show any, or rarely shows any concern or feelings for the well-being unless it serves her interests. Now, she might appear indifferent or even dismissive when you or others face difficulties, and she focuses instead on her own needs and problems. 6 more super chats. Now look, these are some red flags. And it's crucial for you to recognize early on in the relationships. A woman like this can be incredibly charismatic and alluring, but beneath the surface, her manipulative and materialistic self-centered nature can lead to emotional and financial devastation. Pay attention. Pay attention to these behaviors. Trust your instincts. Don't ignore the warning signs. Build a relationship on mutual respect. Build it on shared values and genuine affections. And that's essential. Don't settle for someone who prioritizes wealth and status over love and integrity. Now, we're going to dig a little deeper. Real deep. I mentioned earlier that Frank Rosenthal, lefty, was a Jewish man. Didn't I? And Miss McGee was a tall, blonde, blue-eyed, statuesque, Aryan-type white woman. And so at this point, we're going to explore how racial dynamics and deep-seated feelings of inferiority could have played a major role in his obsession with this beautiful, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Aryan woman. And we're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Y'all hit the number one
Spurling podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We on playback. We on playback. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is Dennis Spurling podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the number one button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in. At a certain point when it's time to check in, I need to checking in to start happening again. We got to go ahead and get this algorithm pumping. Yeah. Welcome back. So we're talking about disloyal women today. We are talking about how disloyal women will destroy your wealth and success. Shout out to all the high value men. Shout out to all the high stature men. Shout out to all the up and coming fellas. Now, at this point, we are talking about the movie Casino, but there's a lot in it. There's a lot in it that hadn't been dissected, and there's a lot of brothers who need to hear what I'm saying. Interracial relationships are on the rise. And part of the attraction that many of you men have to women is the interracial aspect of the relationship. Somebody type exotic in the chat room. Okay? Somebody type exotic in the chat room. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore how racial dynamics and deep-seated feelings of inferiority could have played a role in Sam's obsession with this beautiful woman of Aryan descent. Now, I want you to hear me, and this is going to be interesting for some of you all, especially you black folks. Did you know that white people are racist towards other white people? Did you know that? Did you know there's a difference between the Northern European, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant white folks and the Eastern Europeans and the Jewish people and the Italians? Do you know that there's the Irish suffered a great deal of racism when they came to the shores of the United States? Did you know that? So historically, society has been shaped by racial hierarchies, especially in the United States. The idea that white, especially blonde-haired and blue-eyed people, represent the ideal or superior race has been drilled into our heads for generations. And the so-called Aryan superiority pushed by Western culture and even exacerbated by the Nazi ideology positioned the Nordic-looking individuals at the very top. Now think about Frank Rosenthal. He's a Jewish man, part of a group that's historically been discriminated against, marginalized, and treated as outsiders. And despite all the cultural and intellectual contributions of Jewish people, they've often been viewed as inferior by the dominant white Christian society. It's not hard to imagine that someone like Rosenthal might have internalized these self-hating views, even if only subconsciously. So when Rosenthal pursued Geri McGee, a blonde, blue-eyed woman, it might not have been just about love or attraction. It could have been his way of stepping up in the racial social hierarchy, a way to compensate for any internalized feelings of inferiority. Geri's appearance, embodying what society told him was the ideal woman, might have represented a form of validation or acceptance that he craved in a world that often marginalized him. So let's dig a little deeper. Jewish communities in America, much like black communities, have always had to navigate the tricky waters of cultural assimilation and social acceptance. For someone like Rosenthal, who was deeply embedded in the glamorous world of Las Vegas, marrying a woman like Geri McGee wasn't just about finding a beautiful wife. It was about fitting into the American dream. She wasn't just a woman. She was a symbol of success, blonde, glamorous, and everything that society told him he should want, but seemed unattainable for someone like him. So marrying Geri McGee might have also been Rosenthal's way of asserting his status and power in a society that often excluded him because of his Jewish identity. Am I hitting home yet? See, by being with someone who represented what was socially valued as Aryan beauty, he might have felt he was proving himself, his worth, challenging the boundaries that society has placed on him because of his ethnicity. Now let's talk about how these racial dynamics intersect with gender. Rosenthal likely didn't just idolize Geri because she was beautiful. She represented something exotic to him. Somebody type exotic in the chat room. In a society that often treated Jewish people as outsiders, being with someone who embodied this racial ideal of society might have felt like he was attaining something previously out of reach. It wasn't just about love. It was about conquest. Shout out to the passport bros. It wasn't just about love, it was about conquest, bros. By marrying by marrying Ling Ling, I'm sorry, did I say that? By marrying Becky, I'm sorry. By marrying Geri, Rosenthal wasn't just marrying a woman, he was claiming a piece of the societal ideal that had always excluded him. This wasn't love, it was about power and possession. But here's where things went dark. This dynamic where Rosenthal valued Geri not for who she was as a person, but for what she represented racially and culturally, can lead to the objectification and dehumanization. The relationship becomes less about genuine connection and more about using the other person to achieve social status. But someone like Rosenthal, who may have struggled with both pride in his Jewish identity and societal rejection that came with it, Geri's acceptance might have felt like overcoming barriers imposed by racial prejudice. Her blonde hair and blue eyes weren't just physical attributes, they were symbols of validation. But here's the trap. When you seek validation through someone else, especially someone who represents societal ideals that exclude you, you lose sight of who you are. And this, my friends, is a cautionary tale for the Black men and women whom I need to take heed. How often do you see Black men tolerating all kinds of red flags from white women or women who are closer to white that they would never tolerate from a Black woman? Why? Because deep down, some of us believe that being with this woman, this white woman, elevates our status in society that always tried to keep us down. Oh, Lord. I'm talking to you high value men out there. You want me to talk to you, right? You want to hear the truth, right, brothers? You'll tolerate something from Becky, Ling Ling, and Maria. Tattoos, bullet wounds, baby daddies, a couple of them. You go right over there to the Dominican Republic and Colombia, and they tatted up like a tattoo shop. They got 2 or 3 kids by 2 or 3 different daddies, but you steady tricking on them. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. She an ex-prostitute, ex-working girl, and you want to wife her up and bring her home. You sending the money every month. I'm just saying, you wouldn't tolerate that from a Black girl. I'm just saying. And for you lovely ladies out there who are listening to this, Gail at night, listen to me. All you ladies that have been eavesdropping into this conversation we got going over here. Let's not pretend, sisters, Black women, that we haven't seen Black women treat even the most average white man like he is a god. He's broke, multiple kids, bad breath, no teeth, bad back, and you tolerate this behavior that you would never accept from a Black man. This isn't just about relationships. It's about climbing the social ladder that was never built for us. In the end, Rosenthal's attraction to Geri McGee wasn't just about love. It was about trying to claim a piece of societal ideal that had always excluded him. And that was a trap. It's a trap that Black men and Black women easily fall into if we're not careful. So don't lower your standards, high value man. Don't compromise your identity, my brother, in the pursuit of what society tells you is valuable. Lead with your character, know your worth, and don't let societal pressures or internalized notions of racial hierarchy dictate your relationships. Whether you're a Black man or a Black woman, you deserve to be with someone who values you for who you are, not for what you can do for their image. Think about that. Think about that. Y'all still with me? Did you run out? We need 16 more super chats. See, here's the cold part about it. I want y'all to listen to me. See, this is a cautionary tale for us as black men. Don't lower your standards or compromise your identity because you think it'll get you a step up on the racial hierarchy. When you start chasing societal ideas that don't value you or who you are, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't fall into that same trap. Here's the cold part about it. Geri wasn't some passive player in this racial game of hierarchy. She was fully aware of the racial dynamics at play, and she knew exactly how to leverage her perceived higher status in this racial hierarchy to her advantage. Are y'all listening to me? She wasn't blind. This blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan-looking woman wasn't blind to the world she lived in. She would have been acutely aware of societal's how society valued and placed her based on her appearance. She knew that in the world shaped by racial hierarchies, her looks gave her a certain level of power and influence, especially over men like Rosenthal, because he was Jewish, who might have subconsciously placed her on a pedestal because she had those Aryan features. And this awareness is crucial because it explains a lot about her behavior. Geri's disregard for boundaries, her manipulative tendencies, and her sense of entitlement weren't just personality quirks. They were behaviors that were likely reinforced by a society that told her she was inherently more valuable because of her race. She knew that a man like Rosenthal, who might have harbored feelings about racial inferiority, like many of you black dudes, would go to great lengths to win her favor and keep her happy. Got to keep Ling Ling happy, right? Got to keep Maria happy, right? Got to keep Becky and Heather happy, right? This woman likely understood her perceived higher status in the racial hierarchy and gave her and that it gave her significant advantage in a relationship, particularly with men who didn't share that status. Notice how Geri had a boyfriend, that white dude he treated her horribly. But remember, he was white. He wasn't Jewish white. He was white. He was Aryan, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, white. But Rosenthal, she felt comfortable pushing boundaries and acting out with him because she knew she could get away with it because society viewed her and just like Rosenthal likely viewed her, that she was superior. And this sense of racial superiority would have emboldened her to manipulate those around her, knowing that her value in their eyes wasn't just based on who she was as a person, but on what she represented within the racial and social structure of the time. And it's not hard to see how this dynamic could lead to a kind of toxic behavior that ultimately destroyed her marriage and contributed to the chaos in her life. So this dynamic is something that we need to be aware of in our own lives, brother, particularly within the black community. When we elevate someone based on their race and their appearance, whether consciously or subconsciously, we give them power over us that they can and often will use in their advantage. When someone knows they have power, it can lead to all kind of boundary pushing, manipulation, and toxic behavior. For black men, this is a warning. Somebody type warning in the chat room. We need 6 more super chats. Don't let societal pressures or internalized notions of racial hierarchy cloud your judgment when it comes to this woman that you're dealing with. I don't care if her name is Maria, Ling Ling, Becky, Sudanan. I don't care what her name is. Who is, where's she from? Don't matter to me. Just because someone fits the societal ideal doesn't mean they have your best interest at heart. And for black women, don't fall into the trap of thinking that being with some white man or some Asian man or some Latino man automatically elevates your status or gives you validation. These dynamics are dangerous. And they can lead to the same kind of destructive relationships we saw with Rosenthal and McGee. In the end, it's about understanding your own worth and not letting societal standards dictate how you view yourself or your relationships. Geri McGee might have been aware of her power in the relational hierarchy, but that doesn't mean she deserved it. It's up to us to see through these dynamics and build relationships based on mutual respect, shared values, genuine connection, and not on superficial notions of race. Here's the cold part about it. Another cold part. You understand? You guys are seeking these folks out. And you want to be with these women. From these different racial and ethnic backgrounds, including white, Asian, and Latina. Look, love transcends all race. And it's crucial for black men to be, but it's crucial for you to be aware of the racial dynamics that may be at play in these relationships. Understanding these dynamics is essential, not just for your personal happiness, but also for ensuring that relationships are built on mutual respect, genuine connection, rather than on superficial or harmful notions of race and status. Here's the thing. You brothers are traveling to places like Thailand and Vietnam. Where else are they going? Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Japan. Do you understand that there are Asian racial hierarchies? In Asian cultures, there exists a racial hierarchy that is often unspoken but deeply ingrained. For example, in East Asia, people from countries like Japan and Korea and China, they may view themselves as being at the top of the hierarchy. They may sometimes derogatorily refer to South Asians as jungle Asians. You hear that? And that term, a term that reflects both the darker complexion and the socioeconomic disparities between those groups. These the intra-racism between the Asian community should serve as a warning to black men that not all Asian women will see you as equals. Instead, some might see them as improving on your status or as a deviation from the racial norm, which could lead to fetishization and exoticism rather than genuine love and respect. I want y'all to hear me. Ask those Filipinos about their interactions with the Japanese, Koreans, and the Chinese. I'm just saying. And look, love who you love, fam. And some of you brothers are saying, well, yeah, I'm about Latin America. I love Colombia. I love Brazil. I love the Dominican Republic. I love all of Central. I've been to most of them. But and many of you brothers are going down there. Somebody type passport bros in the chat room. Somebody type passport bros and look, I'm with you 100%, brothers. But you need to understand when you're traveling to Latin America, they have racial hierarchies there. In fact, they have a concept called mejor, M-E-J-O-R, mejor la raza. I can't even pronounce it. My tongue is twisted. Let me drink some water. Mejor la raza. Which basically means, in Latin, it's a Latin American concept, and it basically means improve the race. And this is another important factor to consider. This phrase is rooted in colonialism, and it suggests that by marrying or having children with someone of lighter skin, you can improve the family line, both in terms of appearance and social status. And many Latino women are acutely aware of their place in this racial hierarchy And they were more likely than not view relationships with black men through that lens, because that's how they were raised. And it's essential to recognize that while some Latino women may genuinely love and respect their black man, others might be influenced by these deeply ingrained racial ideologies, leading them to prioritize social standing and over the well-being of their relationship. Do you think Tyrese's baby mama loved him? Didn't she just take him back and get another $15,000, $20,000 in child support? I'm just saying. Am I preaching to the choir? Is anybody in here? We need another 6 super chats. Now, these are red flags you need to look out for. If a woman constantly, shout out to Telvin King, we need another 5 super chats. If a woman constantly talks about how much she loves black culture or black men, but doesn't seem to value or understand your individual experiences and struggles, that's a red flag. It's one thing to appreciate a culture, but it's another to fetishize an entire race. Pay attention to any comments that she makes about your skin color or your features that seem to place you on a pedestal or conversely degrade you based on your race. Comments like, I love your dark skin. Or here's one, our kids will have such beautiful mixed features. Now you take that as a compliment, but it could also indicate that she values you more for your racial characteristics than for who you are as a person. Here's another one, culturally insensitive. She dismisses or trivializes the importance of your cultural background and history. It may be a sign that she doesn't fully respect you or your heritage. And this could manifest as ignorance about issues affecting the black community or refusal to engage in these topics meaningfully. Now, if she makes derogatory comments about people from other races, especially those of darker races whom or perceived as lower in racial status, that's a hell of a red flag. This behavior could indicate that she holds problematic views about race and may even see you as an exception to her otherwise racist beliefs. Shout out to my man Junk Photographer. We need 5 more super chats. If you feel pressure to conform to certain stereotypes or distance yourself from aspects of black culture in order to be accepted by her or her family, that's a clear sign that the relationship may be more about her desires than about mutual respect and understanding. Look, brothers, look. For black men who are wealthy, you're a target. For you high status black men, you're a target. You have significant value, significant financial value. And so navigating interracial relationships can be complex, especially in a world where racial hierarchies still play a significant role in shaping people's perceptions and behaviors. Look, it's essential that you be aware of these dynamics. It's essential that you recognize the red flags that may indicate a relationship is being influenced by superficial or harmful notions about race. The goal should always be to build a relationship based on mutual respect, shared values, and genuine connection. Never on a desire to improve one's social status or conform to racial hierarchy. In the end, your self-worth and happiness should come from who you are as a person, not from how you fit into someone's racial cultural ideals. So be vigilant, brothers, be wise, and always prioritize relationships that value you for who you are, not for what you represent. Fellas, listen to me now. Let's get real about something. There's too many black men glossing over it when it comes to dating outside the race. You got to understand that it's not just about love transcending race. You can't afford to be naive about the racial dynamics that are deeply embedded in these relationships. If you're going to navigate these waters, you need to be on high alert for signs that this relationship might be built on something far more toxic than love and respect. Okay? I'm talking to you like you're my own sons. If you're a black man dating outside your race, you need to be crystal clear about the potential pitfalls. Too many of our brothers, especially those who've made it in sports and entertainment, have ended up in the crosshairs of women who see them as nothing more than a come up, a ticket to the good life. Looking around at all these rich ball players who are getting taken to the cleaners in family court for child support and alimony. Those women didn't love them deeply. They saw them as a means to an end. Know your value, brothers. When you're a successful black man, you're a target, and let's not sugarcoat it. These women aren't always looking for you as a person. They're looking for your wallet. Just like Sam Rothstein, your status and what you can provide. It's their ticket to the American dream. They're using the oldest playbook in the game, extracting wealth through exploitation of black labor and talent. This isn't about love or a relationship. It's about financial gain, plain and simple. Shout out to Chef673. I need 4 more super chats. Here's how it works. She cozies up to you, plays the roles, says all the right things, but in the back of her mind, she's already calculating the child support checks and the alimony payments. She's playing the long game. You're just a pawn. Once she got what she wants, kids, marriage, whatever, she's got you locked down. The courts will do the rest, ensuring that she gets a hefty chunk of your hard-earned black dollars while you're left wondering where it all went wrong. This is just another form of exploitation, no different from how black labor has been exploited for centuries. The only difference now is that it's happening in the context of relationships. You're being used as a stepping stone, a way for her to climb up the social economic ladder. And when she's done with you, she'll move on, but not before taking a piece of your wealth with her. And we can't have that. Brothers, you got to wake up. Black men, you got to wake up. Stop letting yourself be used and exploited in these ways. Just because she's smiling in your face, that doesn't mean she got your best interests at heart. Be vigilant, be discerning, and don't let your success blind you to the red flags. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself in the same boat that so many other black men who thought they found love, only to discover they were just means to someone's end. Don't be another statistic. Protect yourself, protect your wealth, protect your legacy, and most importantly, don't live in a delusional world. Love should be genuine and mutual, not a transaction where you're the one who ends up paying the price. Here's another thing. I always tell you, brothers, shout out to my man Lock Vegas. We need 3 more super chats. Now, I know what some of you brothers are thinking. And we need to be honest. We need to have an honest conversation, especially when it comes to dating within our own race. Many of us think that dating a black woman means there's automatically a cultural understanding. But that's not always the case. And I tell you brothers all the time, my preference is for you to date women who are black, who are within the African diaspora, whether she be West African, Nigerian, Black American. Shout out to Telvin King. We need 2 more super chats. I tell you brothers this all the time. But you need to be aware that that intra-racism is real, even among black people. If you're dating a woman from the African diaspora, whether she's Nigerian, Senegalese, Ghanaian, Ethiopian, Eritrean, Jamaican, Trinidadian, South African, she's from the Bahamas, Colombia, Brazil, you might be stepping into a minefield that you need to navigate carefully. Here's the deal. Some black women from other parts of the world see themselves as culturally superior to foundational black Americans. Somebody type FBA in the chat room. They've been raised with the notion that because their ancestors weren't subjected to the horrors of chattel slavery in the U.S., they're somehow better off than you. They didn't have to pick cotton in Mississippi or pick tobacco in South and North Carolina. And so they have the nerve to look down on you and FBA culture, viewing it as less sophisticated, less intelligent, or even as a culture that is lazy or entitled. And this isn't something that you're going to come right out and say, but it'll be there, just beneath the surface, affecting how they see you in your relationship. And this superiority complex manifests in subtle but damaging ways. You might find that she constantly compares you to men from her own country, implying that you're not as cultured or as educated or as hardworking. She might denigrate aspects of FBA culture, whether it's in the music or the food, or even the way you speak. She might even expect you to assimilate into her culture entirely, dismissing your heritage and the struggles our ancestors went through to make a place for you in this country. What's particularly insidious about this is that many of these women come to this the United States, the wealthiest, most powerful country on the planet, and take advantage of the opportunity that our foundational Black American ancestors fought and died for. They benefit from the civil rights we gained through blood, sweat, and tears, but then turn around and denigrate the very people who made it possible for them to be here in the first place. So what should we be looking for? I'm talking to my high value men, right? You got to protect your wealth. What should we be looking for? You met that fine chick from Trinidad. You got a bad broad from Bahamas. You got a good one from Ghana. But you still got to look for the red flags. We need 2 more super chats. Here's some signs that the woman you're with might be harboring some problematic views. She frequently compares you unfavorably to the men from her own country. This is a red flag. She makes comments like, in Nigeria, men are more hardworking. Or Jamaican men know how to take care of their families better. These are indicators that she doesn't fully respect your identity as a Black American man. And that's a red flag. She could be culturally dismissive. What do I mean? Well, you need to pay attention to how she reacts to your culture. Does she mock or belittle aspects of FBA culture? Does she try to impose her own cultural norms? Is she expecting you to abandon your traditions and values? This kind of cultural dismissiveness is a serious red flag. What about the denigration of FBA history? She minimizes or dismisses the historical significance of the foundational Black American struggles through slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights movements. It's a clear sign that she doesn't respect the depth and complexity of your heritage. This might come in the form of comments like, slavery ended a long time ago. You should just get over it. Why do Black Americans always play the victim? That's a red flag. You out of here. Shout out to my man Chef673. We need 1 more super chat. Y'all make it happen. If she constantly talks about how her culture is better, it's better, we're more successful than foundational Black American culture, you need to take a step back and evaluate that relationship. She might say things like, in my country, we're all doctors and lawyers, implying that foundational Black American people are somehow less ambitious or less successful. In other words, there's an overemphasis on her culture's superiority. We need 1 more super chat. Be wary if she seems overly eager to take advantage of the social and economic gains that foundational Black Americans have fought for, without acknowledging or respecting the struggle it took to get there. For example, she might take pride in benefiting from affirmative action, other social programs, but turn around and criticize the same systems that enable her success. That's exploitation of foundational Black American gains. Shout out to my man TIQS, double up for the double up. Good looking out. We got 20, and that's plenty. Yeah. Brothers, you need to protect yourself. Just because she's Black doesn't mean she's automatically going to understand or respect your experiences as a foundational Black American man. Be wary of these red flags. Don't let anyone, regardless of their background, make you feel inferior in your country. We are the most successful, the most educated, wealthiest group of African descendants on the planet. We've earned our place here through unimaginable struggle and resilience. Don't let anyone, whether they're from across the ocean or down the street, diminish your worth or your culture. Stand firm in who you are and be cautious about who you let in your life. Love should uplift you, not make you feel like you're constantly proving your worth to someone who thinks they're better than you. Remember, your heritage is rich, your culture is powerful, and you deserve a woman who values you for everything you are. You are a strong people, and that's why you're still here. So for my high value, high stature Black men, you should be wary when you're looking for suitable women to date or marry. And here's some points. Shout out to my man B Rain. Know your worth. If I don't say anything else, know your worth. Understand your value and never settle for someone who doesn't appreciate or respect you. High value men, high status men, you have to prioritize your relationships where the worth is recognized. Avoid idealization of these women. Don't project your desires on this woman. Recognize her for who she is rather than who you would like her to be. Idolizing a woman can lead to you overlooking critical red flags. You got to maintain your objectivity in these situations. Stay grounded and objective in your relationships. Emotional decisions can cloud judgment and lead to poor choices, which can jeopardize your personal and professional life. In other words, she can mess up your money. You need to also seek mutual respect. Prioritize relationships built on mutual respect and support. Ensure that your woman uplifts you and your goals rather than distracting from them. Another thing, be vigilant about warning signs of disloyalty, manipulation, and disrespect. Ignoring these signs can lead to significant personal and financial reputational losses. You need to set clear boundaries in a relationship. Know what behaviors are acceptable. Don't compromise your values for anyone, and this will help maintain control and respect in the relationship. Shout out to my man, Chef 673. Good looking out. We got 22. We doing the do. Another thing, don't compromise your goals. Ensure that your romantic pursuits align with your personal and professional ambitions. You the man. You're the high value man. You're the prize. She might not see those other men who she doesn't want as a prize, but you're definitely the prize. You're the one who has all the marbles. You're the one who has the money. You're the one with the financial, the status, and the wealth. So you need to avoid distractions that derail your focus on undermining your success. Look, the other thing, you got to invest wisely. When I talk about invest, I'm talking about time and energy and resources that you put in relationships. Not every connection is worth the effort. And these poor choices and poor choices in certain people, they can lead to substantial losses that you can't afford. I need you to reflect on your past relationships and understand where you went wrong. Learn from your mistakes. Use those lessons to make better choices in the future, ensuring that each relationship contributes positively to your life. Focus on self-improvement and personal development. A strong sense of self attracts the right woman and helps you avoid toxic relationships. That's going to ensure your success. And don't let it be compromised by poor choices. Now, I want to take the time to give a shout out to all these beautiful people who gave me these 22 super chats. And if you want to give me some more, I'll be more than happy to read those too. My man, good looking out, Frank Whitaker, waiting nervously for us for thus one just by the title. Okay, this one's gonna hurt, but I think it's what I need to hear. Hey man, look, I know it's gonna be good. It is. It has been. We ain't finished yet. I still got some more smoke. Supporting the Hall of Fame attorney, Uncle D. Can't wait to meet you next weekend. Shout out to you, brothers. I'll be there. Who else we got? Please listen, Dennis fellas. Please listen to Dennis fellas. He's giving you verbal gold as I witnessed many men destroyed by their very women that he is describing. Let me see who else. Thank you so much, Lock Vegas. Cody Marshall, thank you so much for the super sticker. Almost went through this, but had a common sense to break it off before spending any money on her, and this was just a friendship. Y'all see if y'all give me the 25 super chats before I get to the last one. I need 2 more. Urban Eagle, good looking out, fam. I'm going to read faster. We're going to race. Be rain washed. The more beautiful a woman is, the more she's able to lie, and you believe it. Ain't that the truth, right? Who else we got? Because it's a halo effect. People equate beauty with goodness and truthfulness and all those positive attributes. So that's how that works. Shout out to my man Martin Decree. Uncle D, keep the work. I'm continue to teach money, energy, attention, time. Coach Greg Adams, meet. Okay, cool. Nice shout out to you, bro. Thank you. Depress 1177. Thank you so much for the super chat, super sticker. Brawlick Sean, Ecclesiastic 7 and 26. Thank you so much. Another one, Chef 763. Thank you for the $50. You have not said not a lie yet. Experiencing many things you're schooling us about. Many men are not getting this knowledge in our homes. Coming up as teens into manhood, that is why we appreciate you more than you know. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys too. All praises to the Most High. All wisdom comes from God, and I'm happy I could be his vessel to give you guys this information. Same thing I would tell my children. Shout out to Chad Tyrone. He's 770. He said, men are in love, women are in business. Ooh, smoking hot like that. Who else we got up in here? My man, there it is, said, here's the support. Good looking out, fam. Thank you for the $5. And big shout out to ATL Slab Rider. From Adam to now, the sins of the simps destroy society. That's pretty dope. Good looking out, bro. Thank you so much for that $100. Yeah. All right. Appreciate you. My man, Tevin King, my Cambodian coworker told me once that Cambodians are considered blacks of the Asia. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. All these people have this different racism and stuff like that. And you go buy into that and you stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how they feel about your black behind it. You just jumping on in there all naive. But, you know, got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Who else we got? Lock Vegas, the fella super chat. If you have it, this man is saving us from ruin. Dennis is dropping gems. This stream is priceless. Good looking out, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support, Lock Vegas. And big shout out to Tevin King, the Princess of Norway, Martha. Just married her black American boyfriend 2 days ago, and the media is going bonkers. Yeah, that's right. My man, he played his cards right. Shout out to Chef 673. Appreciate you, brother. Oh man, the Princess of Norway, boy, you gonna have some black Vikings up there. Shout out to TIQS. Thank you so much, fam, and thank you, Chef 673. Double up and double up. Appreciate you. Good looking out. Who else? B Rain Watch. We need one more super chat to get 25, and that'll be live. We got 24. We need one more. My man B Rain Watch. When she says no, all lives matter. All right, good looking, right? Yeah. That's how you know. I've experienced this with my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Very subtle. My wife smiled at the table, didn't pay attention to it, and at the time, yeah, right. You got them in-laws. They'll let you know how racist they family members are and their culture is. Yeah, for real. Shout out to Hoots. He said, with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding lessons are blazing tonight, Uncle D. This is one for the records. Good looking out, bro. Well, thank you so much, LJAAA. Good looking out, man. I appreciate everybody who came through with the super chats. Who else we got? We got some Cash Apps over here, man. I want to give a shout out to my Cash App crew. Let's see what y'all had to do. All right, we got about Let's see. Drunk Photography, good looking out. Jerome Boston, good looking out. Mark the Freelancer, good looking out. Hey man, if you got like advertisements, if you got a small business, a plumbing business, Uncle D get around to everybody, man. Just let me know. I'll be more than happy to work with you on advertising your small business. You got a plumbing business, electronic business, something like that. Let me know, man. I will work out a deal and I'll get some advertising. I like working with private folks, you know what I'm saying? So we'll work out something. I'll give you a shout out. Maybe we could do it for a couple of $100 and then I'll profile your business or whatnot and doing one of my plugs. I'll be more than happy to help your small business up. Now, nevertheless, y'all can hit me up if you want that. You can hit me up at spurlingdennis@gmail.com and we'll get that going. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and do this. We've had a smoking hot conversation, I believe, and I believe you all appreciate that. Right? I think you guys appreciate that. If you appreciate what I've done, hit the #1 button. Make sure you subscribe. But I can't let you go without grabbing you by the throat. Not throat, but throat. And I'm going to bring you in real tight, and I want you to listen to what I have to say. Okay? I want to break this down for you. Now, what did we talk about today? We talked about disloyal women will destroy your wealth and success. This conversation is geared for you high-value, high-status men. You get it, but you got to hold on to it. Sometimes getting it is the easier part. Holding on to it is the harder part. And I think we've all experienced that, okay? So let's break this down for you, especially for my black brothers who are striving to be high-value, high-status men. This is something every one of us needs to understand because it can be the difference between success and complete ruin. We use the movie Casino. We talk about Sam Ace Rothstein, which is based on a Frank Rosenthal, the true story. And he had everything, a successful career. He had wealth, he had influence, but he threw it all away because he failed to lead with his character. He let his emotions, desires, and delusional belief that he could change this woman. Change a woman like Ginger. That clouded his judgment. And this was the beginning of his downfall. It's a lesson we need to take to heart as black men. Now, let's make it real for us. We've seen it time and time again. Successful black men come up, right? We've seen it. They get involved with women who don't truly respect them, who see them as nothing more than a ticket to a better lifestyle. Whether it's a woman who's drawn to the flashy life of a scammer or one who's looking to extract wealth through the exploitation of black labor and talent. The outcome is often the same. You end up paying the price financially, emotionally, and socially. Geri McGee / Ginger, she just wasn't a woman who didn't respect or appreciate Sam. She was someone who had no problem involving herself with a man deeply entrenched in the criminal underworld. She knew that this man, she knew what Sam was, how he made his money, who he did business with, and she didn't care. That alone should have been a massive red flag. And this isn't just about Sam. It's not just about a movie called Casino. If you find out that a woman that you're dealing with has a history of dating scammers, criminals, ex-convicts, men who cut corners, that's not just a quirk in her past. It's a giant flashing warning sign. She's drawn to that world, to the fast money, and to the lifestyle that comes with it, being around shady characters. And believe me, she's not in it for you. She's in it for what you can provide. These kinds of women are dangerous, brothers, especially for black men who've worked hard to achieve success. They don't care about the risks you're taking, the damage they could do to your reputation or your career or your life. All they care about is what they can get out of you. And if you're not careful, you'll end up like Sam and so many other men who are paying the price for dealing with a woman like that, who've never been loyal to you in the first place. Ace is a prototype. Ace is like many of you. You let your emotions cloud your judgment when you're dealing with these women, and you didn't demand respect. He didn't set boundaries. He let his obsession with this woman distract him from everything that truly mattered: his business, his legacy, his life. Instead of recognizing the red flags, he ignored them, thinking he could fix this grown woman who was beyond repair. This is the trap many black men fall into, thinking that the love or the money can change that woman's character. She got 3 kids, a crack habit, and she's on welfare, and the stripper. And you think you can change her, but you can't. Success in life and love comes from leading with your character, knowing your worth, and refusing to compromise your values. This man's downfall, like many of you brothers, and you know stories, men like Ace, their downfall was self-inflicted. Because he couldn't get out of his own way. Don't be that guy. Don't chase after illusions or try to fix women who don't respect you or your values. And don't let a woman's bad character drag you down into the mud. Look, take a good look at Ace's story and make sure it's not your own. Value yourself. Set your boundaries. And for God's sake, choose wisely. Your life, your legacy, and your success depend on. And remember, just because she looks good or because she's showing you attention doesn't mean she's right for you. Be smart, be discerning, and don't let anyone come into your life who's going to do more harm than good. You're worth more, black man. You're worth more than that. And you deserve better. This is Uncle D. I'm out.
In the Spurling podcast, hit the like button, subscribe.